A very strange turn of events in the Kanye West saga after he was suspended from Twitter and Instagram for posting things that the liberal media industrial complex willfully misinterpreted. He reportedly now will be buying Parler, the Twitter alternative free speech app that was thriving before the mostly peaceful protest on January 6th at the Capitol, when they were not just removed from the App Store, but their hosting services and all their third-party software vendors decided to cut ties with them. And so Parler has said Kanye is going to buy it. Kanye has confirmed that those are his plans. And Parler is back. They've been back in the App Store. But it was, in my opinion, a poor relaunch because most people didn't know that they were back, or when they heard that they were back, they tried to log back into their account and the app just didn't work, and then they gave up. Parler, of course, was online before Getter, before Truth Social, and really should have been a thriving Twitter alternative at this point. But like I said, you couldn't log back into the app. You had to actually delete the app and then download the new one from the App Store. And for whatever reason, it just never got back the momentum that it once had. So Kanye West apparently upset that he has been suspended from the two big tech platforms and reportedly will be buying his own. Now, Kanye West, by the way, is worth $2 billion, okay? A lot to get into here. Over the weekend, Kanye West was on a podcast, and instead of apologizing for his previous comments, he decided to expand on them. But here is his explanation for the tweet about the, quote, DeathCon 3, which obviously he meant DEFCON. But here he is on the Drink Champs podcast explaining what he meant.
I spelled it wrong. I have a tendency to do that. But DEFCON is actually that you're preparing to protect yourself. Because that's what I did. Because once they cancel 4 SoFi stadiums because of what's classified as wrong think, because you have groupthink, it is very important to have the black vote be in groupthink and to not separate from the thought and be completely in line with the agenda of the left, the media, and the Chinese.
That clip's from an over 3-hour interview that he did, and I posted a link to the full interview on Facebook and on Truth Social, and I said, watch it while you can, because I guarantee you 100% it's going to get banned. And, of course, it did. Surprisingly, not from YouTube, at least not yet. They would have given it a strike without a doubt. But the channel itself, Revolt, which is run by Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, it's a very popular hip-hop channel, decided to take the video down. And the host of the show, fellow rapper Nori, or Noriega, N-O-R-E, apologized for giving Kanye a platform. Now, when Kanye did this same podcast last year, the YouTube video alone got over 11 million views. And this shows what a fractionalized media ecosystem we're living in now, where there are these enormous shows and podcasts where the people who are outside of their viewership don't even know that they exist. But in the interview that he did just the other day on the show, Kanye pointed out that his publicist asked him, why do you want to go on this show? And he said because his last interview got triple the viewers of Kim Kardashian's hosting on Saturday Night Live. So I looked into this, it got at least double, because you got 11 million views just on the YouTube video alone. Who knows how many people are listening on the podcast apps. Kim Kardashian, and he might actually be right. Kim Kardashian got about 5 million viewers on Saturday Night Live. So that's the world we're living in, when I had never heard of this YouTube channel. I'd never heard of this show. And again, it has double or triple the viewership of a major A-list celebrity hosting what, used to be a staple of American entertainment. Of course, the liberal media industrial complex is absolutely furious, not just with Kanye's comments on the podcast and on the other big tech platforms, but that he now will reportedly be buying his own.
When Parler celebrates the free speech, let's be clear, Kanye wasn't blocked from Twitter and Instagram because he challenged critical race theory or vaccine mandates. It was because he threatened to kill Jews.
No, that's fake news. Everybody knew that he meant DEFCON, which is a defensive posture, which, of course, he expanded on in that podcast interview that also got censored.
Parler is a haven of hate. It's a cesspool of bigotry that resembles 4chan a lot less than Facebook.
No, the cesspools of hate are actually the big tech platforms, which are filled with anti-whiteism and Christianphobia from people like Talbert Swan, a bishop at some, I'm just assuming, satanic church, which tweets out literally the same thing every few months, that whiteness is an unrelenting demonic force of evil. That's just from October 14th, just a couple days ago. And here is just, like I said, every few months he just tweets out the exact same thing, never gets suspended, never gets banned, allowed to demonize and dehumanize the entire white race with no penalties whatsoever. After word spread of Kanye's plans, Elon Musk tweeted out this meme showing the two of them doing a celebratory dance. It's a scene taken from a popular anime film, I think, or a video game, adding fun times ahead, only to then quickly delete the tweets because so many of the twits on Twitter were attacking Elon for daring to not denounce Kanye West simply for existing and instead welcoming him into the world of owning a social media platform. We'll see if Kanye goes through with this or if he gets cold feet, because even before this, just from his comments recently, he was already enemy number one of the liberal media industrial complex, scheduled for mega cancellations that he hasn't even imagined. And now that he is getting into the social media business to buy a free speech platform, they're going to come at him even harder. So we'll see what happens. Right now, they are in what's called an agreement in principle. So they haven't signed the contract with the details. They've signed a contract to sort of then iron out the actual contract. So we'll see what happens with this. And look at that, I got 264,000 followers on Parler, but I haven't used it for 8 months. I haven't used Getter in many months. I haven't used MeWe since I don't even remember when. This is kind of a double-edged sword, having all these different platforms. It's fantastic to have alternatives to the big tech platforms, but at the same time, it fractionalizes the audience because not everybody is going to start juggling all these different apps. You know, now the social media personalities and the news websites and things are going to have a presence on a lot of these, and they're just going to aggregate their feeds and repost what they're doing. But your average person, your average conservative, isn't going to check what's going on Parler, and let me go check what's on MeWe, and let me go check what's on Gab, and let me check what's on Getter, and let me check what's on Telegram. It just, everybody kind of has their, you know, one or two favorite platforms where they want to be. And with President Trump on Truth Social, I don't know if there's going to be a lot of appeal for people to go to Parler, even if Kanye West is the new owner. And in fact, Candace Owens' husband is the CEO of Parler. He's the new CEO. He's been the CEO for quite some time after they fired the old one after the app had their cancellation issues. But Candace herself has not posted on Parler for 4 months. So she wasn't even using the platform that her own husband runs until just yesterday, her first post in 4 months, announcing that Kanye West is, reportedly going to take it over. Now, because I don't sugarcoat things and I don't BS you guys, I give it to you straight, you should know that in order to be in the app stores, Parler, Getter, and Truth Social all have to have special content filters that use AI systems to filter out offensive content, and the app stores are going to pressure them to ban certain users, certain topics, or they're going to get pulled from the app store. So here's one of my last posts that I made on Parler, which is probably why I left. I linked up a video that showed Chunk Uyghur from the Young Turks using the N-word over and over again, and they put it behind a content filter. Now, they didn't ban the post, okay? They didn't suspend me, but it is behind these annoying content filters that are automatically put up when certain keywords or certain pictures are used. Truth Social has the same thing. Getter has to have the same thing in order to be in the app stores. And when I talk about Gab, a lot of people say the first thing they think is going to the app store. There's no Gab in the app store. Sometimes there are fake Gabs, knockoffs, which aren't Gab. You have to go to gab.com. Gab was banned from the app stores years ago because they will not bow down to any censorship that's protected by the First Amendment. The reason that most brand name Republicans and corporate conservatives never join Gab and pretend that it doesn't exist is because they were the first free speech alternative social media platform launched in 2016. So the liberal media industrial complex, which also includes, of course, Wikipedia, did everything that they could to try to take them down and smear them as a haven for neo-Nazis, racists, white supremacists, white nationalists, anti-Semites, the far right, and the QAnon people. But according to that logic, Franklin Graham, Billy Graham's son, is one of them because he's on Gab. There are a handful of Republican America First members of Congress, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Lauren Boebert, Matt Gaetz, Paul Gosar, but not very many. Not even a lot of news outlets. Breitbart and InfoWars are kind of the biggest alternative outlets that are on Gab because, again, they don't want to be associated with a true free speech platform. But you'll never guess who landed an interview with Kanye West yesterday. Fredo, of all people. After the Drink Champs podcast, which was an over 3-hour interview, was taken down, Kanye did an interview with HBO that they decided not to air because he's not going on an apology tour. So Fredo decided to have him on to lecture him for 20 minutes straight.
There is no Jewish media mafia. That is a figment of either your imagination or a projection of a prejudice, okay?
And this is how the interview finally ended.
Thank you for telling me how I should feel. Good night.
You just asked me. Yay.
Thank you for telling me.
Good luck to you. I'll be watching.
At this point, nobody's going to be allowed to interview Kanye West on any of the major platforms. They're going to Alex Jones him. It's a violation of the terms of service on Facebook to interview Alex Jones about anything. You can have him on to talk about grilling out or hunting, anything, and they won't allow it. They'll give a strike to your account, and that's what they're going to do to Kanye West. I'm sure at this point that Candace Owens is even going to distance herself from him and probably won't be doing any interviews, won't have him on her show either. Here's Candace Owens' boss. This is the co-CEO of the Daily Wire, Jeremy Boring, responding to some of Kanye's comments on the Drinking Club or Drinking Champs podcast, calling Kanye disgusting. And in case you missed it, you gotta see it. Here's Ben Shapiro's reaction to Kanye West's latest comments.
Kanye decided that he was going to go full anti-Semitic. Kanye West anti-Semitic. Kanye West saying an anti-Semitic thing, saying crazy anti-Semitic things, which is anti-Semitism. Kanye West said some anti-Semitic things. And there are no two ways about this. The things that he said are not just like a little anti-Semitic, they're very anti-Semitic. This is all really bad stuff. Suffice to say, this is all very anti-Semitic and really, really bad stuff. He is saying openly anti-Semitic stuff. They are anti-Semitic. I mean, there's no two ways about them. No sympathy for anti-Semitic statements, I think, is a fairly decent rule when it comes to situations like this one. So again, this is an anti-Semitic trope that basically you can't say bad things about Jews. I mean, I've made my thoughts about Kanye West pretty clear. I mean, what he said is anti-Semitic. There's no question about it. I mean, what he said is pure, rote anti-Semitism. I mean, this is all anti-Semitism. Kanye's anti-Semitic remarks, saying openly anti-Semitic stuff. And Tucker cut a segment from his interview with Kanye in which Kanye said a bunch of anti-Semitic stuff. Ridiculous anti-Semitic jerk. Undoubtedly anti-Semitic remarks. Anti-Semitism and the scope of anti-Semitism, once again, for the 1,000th time, are in fact anti-Semitic. That's the way this works.
At this point, there's only one show, one platform where Kanye West will be able to actually give an interview without it being dumped down the memory hole, and that is on the Alex Jones show on his platform, Band.video. And as you can see here, Alex Jones has a new look, and I think it's pretty badass. And I will tell you that there is a plan in the works to get Kanye West into the InfoWars studio. I can't reveal any of the details. I don't know that it's going to work. I give it about a 30% chance that in the next couple weeks, it may. If that happens, it's going to be the #1 trend on Twitter. It's going to break the internet. The entire liberal media industrial complex are going to completely lose their mind. So let's hope that it happens. Speaking of being canceled, Kanye said that his clothing distributor canceled his White Lives Matter shirt, and I can't release one. Nobody can release them on any of the major t-shirt and merch distribution platforms. So I do have plenty of other shirts, as you know, like my new Nuclear MAGA shirt, the MK Ultra Conspiracy Fact shirt, or any of my awesome designs, all available in a t-shirt, long sleeve, and a hoodie, and a whole bunch of different colors as well. So head on over to markdice.com or click the link in the description below and check them out.